Boundless Immigration News, Weekend Review, June 3, 2022. LGBT refugees fleeing Ukraine fear violence and persecution. According to the United Nations, more than 6 million people have fled Ukraine since Russia's invasion in late February, with 8 million thought to be displaced within the country itself. War poses the biggest threat to society's most vulnerable and persecuted communities, with LGBTQ individuals more likely to face violence and abuse by security forces. During periods of armed conflict, LGBT refugees are more likely to be arbitrarily detained and denied safe housing and health services. Many who have managed to flee the country are settling in neighboring Poland and Hungary, countries notorious for homophobic and anti-gay legislation. As the conflict continues, LGBTQ Ukrainians may continue to face discrimination in their own country and the countries in which they seek refugee. Most undocumented high school graduates are now ineligible for DACA. For the first time since the program was created on June 15, 2012, the overwhelming majority of the country's undocumented high school graduates will be ineligible for the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA program, because they entered the U.S. after the required arrival date of June 15, 2007. According to a new report by FWD.US, around 100,000 undocumented young people will graduate from high school in 2022, with an additional 600,000 students currently enrolled in grades K through 12 across the U.S. However, of these 100,000 graduates of the class of 2022, only a quarter would be eligible for DACA, which requires, among other things, that the person applying have entered the U.S. before June 15, 2007. U.S. citizenship applicants sue government over processing delays. A group of immigrants is suing the U.S. government over delays in processing their citizenship applications. The 13 plaintiffs filed a suit against the federal government on Wednesday for what they called unreasonable delays after submitting their naturalization applications in spring 2020. The suit filed by the American Immigration Council on behalf of the immigrants names U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, or USCIS, as well as the National Archives and Records Administration, which operates underground storage facilities housing immigration paperwork. The mile-long quays beneath Kansas City were largely shut down due to the COVID-19 pandemic, causing long delays as applications languished. Despite this, USCIS still isn't prioritizing citizenship applications over other immigration requests, which could mean thousands of would-be citizens won't be able to vote in the upcoming midterm elections. White House issues proclamation on National Immigrant Heritage Month. The Biden administration marked the beginning of National Immigrant Heritage Month this year with a proclamation honoring the contributions of immigrants to our great nation and celebrating their profound impact. The proclamation acknowledges the ongoing contributions immigrants make to the United States, from leadership in science, technology, and immigration to serving on the front lines during the COVID-19 pandemic. While acknowledging the new customs and perspectives immigrants bring and the positive impact it has on American innovation, the administration also noted the fact that immigrants often face discrimination, xenophobia, and violence. Hate and fear are being given too much oxygen by those who pretend to love America but do not understand America. To confront the dangerous ideology of hate requires caring about all people, including our nation's immigrants. ICE extends COVID-19 guidance for non-immigrant students for the 2022-2023 academic year. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, announced May 31st that the student and exchange visa programs reissued guidance for the 2022 through 2023 academic year will apply only to non-immigrant students who are already actively enrolled at a U.S. school on March 9, 2020, and have continuously maintained their non-immigrant status. The original announcement extending the COVID-19 guidelines was issued on April 18th and allowed schools and students to use distance and online learning beyond what ICE usually allows for F and M students due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Biden set to secure historic refugee deal with Spain. The Biden administration is expected to announce a deal with Spain for that country to resettle refugees from the Western Hemisphere for the first time in history, according to a report by Axios. The talks are taking place at the Summit for the Americas in Los Angeles and would potentially see Spain resettle a modest but symbolically important number of refugees, while also agreeing to accept up to triple the current number of temporary workers from Central America through an employment-based migration program. Canada is also expected to significantly expand its refugee commitment, as well as a recruitment program to bring Haitians into the country for work. Those are this week's top immigration news headlines. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Boundless on YouTube. Thanks for watching.